Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hinman.
Present.
Commissioner Walters.
Present.
Commissioner Altman.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Burgle.
Here.
Any corrections or additions to the consent agenda?
I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda
Support.
as printed.
Motion supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of board minutes for February 24th, 2015. Everyone had a chance to look at them?
Yeah, and Sandy did provide me some corrections, which are included in the new copies that are on the table.
So with the corrections, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reading the cash balances.
We have in the 101 General Fund $41,219.45. In the unallocated cash balance is $467,881.41. That's a total of $509,100.86, and that's before the bills to be paid. I'll speak to that when we come to the financial report.
The handout says that it's after the.
It's-
It's a mistake.
Okay,
Here's my error.
I'll explain it with you.
okay.
Is there any public comments? Any public comments? Mary Ann, you want to address the board with a couple of issues or ideas you have?
Yes, I do. I have given you each a calendar that was bought with CERT money. That's to get, we got 400 of them for public education. CERT members have been handing them out. It's not much, but at least it's something out there to the public that we can get some information out. One of the other thing that I gave you is the information on Nixle. Midland County uses Nixle. They use the middle one where they send out information. This is an automated system that will generate text messages and emails to whatever groups we want. The first part of it is free. We already have an account. The best part about the whole system is available to the entire county, so any department can use this. If we go upgrade, then if Laura's department wanted to put out some information on marriage licenses or something like that, I don't know what she does, but
Stop down.
she would be able to do that. For anybody, any citizen who wants it, they sign up for whatever they want to learn about, whatever accounting information they want. Our newsletter that Gail is doing, that could be sent out to the public if we wanted.
Do they get charged for receiving it?
If, most things are unlimited text, but yes, they get charged 5 cents. That's why we let the citizens sign up for it. They know what they're spending ahead of time. The only thing I would use EMNet for is imminent danger. That's all we can use it for. We can't use it for a missing child. We can't use it for an Amber Alert or anything like that. This we can. This we can target. If we had the Nixle 360, it's message. It's a voice message that we can send out. That's the one I recommend that we get. Now, having said that, with the price tag of $6,000 a year, Homeland Security money may be able to cover that.
For how many years though?
For one, I wouldn't be able to do the full $6,000 right now or next grant because we have done our projects already. Now, with the 2013 grant, I was doing MDT connectivity for Beaverton and Gladwin. Because they did not install the MDTs in their vehicle, I can't pay for that. I can't pay for something they're not using. So that's money coming back. Our exercise money that we had, $1,500 there, we're not anywhere near ready to exercise our EOC. And so we can use that $1,500 towards the Nixle.
Is this comparable to like a reverse 911 idea with this approach, or similar?
A reverse 911 is yeah, it's similar to that. We don't have that capability.
Right.
This one, the Nixle 360, we can geographically pull a number out, you know, a geographical area. One of the questions that I had is when we had a system similar in St. Clair County where we had the KPAC police chief that was shot, we used the system and extracted out the address to the guy that had the gun, that did the shooting. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to have it here, that we can extract a number out if we don't want a certain bad guy to know about it, and we can do that. The Nixle 360, if we're not near a computer, they'll send it out for me. All we have to do is call, and they'll send the message out to whoever we want. If you're at home and Laura, and you don't have internet and you need it out, we can do it. It also protects us in this building. In our lockdown, we did a walkthrough last week in our lockdown, and we have no way of letting our employees know in any building what's going on. If it's on the first floor, Gail up here has no clue. So this is a way to get that out. We can have pre-designated messages there. I would say it's a system that we really do need to look into. Whether we get the middle one, the 360, whatever. You know, it's whatever you want to look at. If we stay with the free one, that's great with me. I don't care, as long as I can get information out to the public.
I'll have you get with the data committee. And also, Ray, have you looked at this, seen this? The undersheriff?
I just saw it this morning. I haven't had a chance to study it.
Okay. I think we'll refer it to the data committee and see what we can come up with, and research it a little bit and go from there.
Is this, like the one gentleman keeps coming and asking us about that program for the cell phones that would alert the public to, you know, a disaster? Is this more of an enhanced type of thing? Much more?
I know who you're speaking of, and Sharon and I were just talking. That gentleman has gone to the state now twice in the last 2 weeks, and I've received phone calls. He doesn't understand how the system works. That he's talking of EMNet. EMNet, we send a message out, it hits every single cell phone in the county. Whether you're just traveling through or not, it hits it. So some people are gonna have no clue. It's imminent danger to life is the only time we can use it.
Oh.
So he just doesn't understand that, and I've been trying to explain that.
Okay.
You just can't use it for lake levels and...
No, no. And he wants to know when, like the dam lets out 2 feet of water, whether his boat's gonna rise or fall. And is it gonna cause damage to his dock? That's the only reason why he wants to know this stuff, is damage to his own personal property.
So,
Question that I have is, you said, like, could the townships, is this something that would only originate here with the courthouse? Or could the townships also originate information on this?
We can make it available to the townships. As of right now, we have one administrator, that's me, but I would get more than one.
Right.
And then we would give out passwords and access to the system. And then they would be able to put their own information out whenever they wanted to their residents.
Maybe that's something that townships would be, if they knew, especially those that are on the river and with the lakes, that kind of thing, that maybe that might be something that they would be willing to put a couple $100 or something in to be able to have this, as long as they would also have access of notification.
Like an advanced warning system.
Yep.
One of the things with the 2013 grant is we're running short on time. Now, I've taken some of the money, we all know the house fire the firemen were trapped in. They used what they call a RIT kit, and it's an air bottle that has a 20-foot long hose and a mask. We had to get that from Harrison, from Clare County. So I looked into purchasing one off the grant. Now, Gladwin purchased 2 and they got demos, so they only paid $1,600 a piece for them. I would have to pay $3,800 to get another one in our county. So right now they would have to use mutual aid to get it. But I'd like to see another one in the county, whether it be this grant or the next one. If we're gonna do Nixle with this grant, you know, I need to get the AAF in, so.
Okay, we've already had a data committee meeting this month, and our next regularly scheduled data committee meeting would be the first Wednesday in April, which probably is not conducive for your time frame. But
Tim London's working with us on that.
Pardon me?
Tim London is working with us on that.
Okay, well, I was going to say that if we could have a data committee meeting, that this would be the this and you could have more information or whatever, and even maybe notify the townships that they might want to sit in to find out how this would benefit. Would that be of help to schedule it sooner?
You wouldn't use this for a tornado one.
No, we use our sirens for that. But any other public information that we need to get out, we would use it for. If you have a boil water alert, if you have road closures, you know, if dispatch wanted to use it and say avoid this area because of an accident, we could do that. It's beneficial for us to make contact with the public, obviously, but in my department, we have not had this ability.
Do we need to tie all this in with the hazard mitigation program that's going on and the NIMS issue and so forth? It's all related.
Well, we have to, I'm not exactly sure what IPAWS stands for. It's a public address, and we have to be compliant with IPAWS, which we already are because we have EMNet. This, we would add it to the hazard mitigation plan, but it wouldn't make any difference on it. So, it's just something that I think that the county would benefit from. And it's, right now it's a free service, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how it's going to work for me. If we don't use the 13 grant money, if we have anything left in 14, pretty much all of it is accounted for. I need to get some AEDs for the sheriff department and for the jail, so we've been using up that money. All of our money is supposed to be spent and all requests to purchase be done by April 1st. Now, with that being said, Tim London is working with us because he knows our time frame and the problems that we've had here. So he's working with me, and I've been with Laura and Christy saying, you know, this check should be coming in, we need money for this, and putting in the reimbursements as soon as we can get them. The EHP, Environmental, Historic, and Preservation for the buildings, was approved yesterday for arts. I'll get with you, Sharon, and we'll schedule something.
Environmental history protection, is that what you said?
Environmental, Historic, and Preservation Act. Thank you.
Okay, going back, should we have a special data meeting to just cover this?
If we want to use 2013 money, yes.
Okay.
But I also have to ask my local planning team next Thursday about the rest of the money and what they want to, what they would think it has to be used for. So if they give me,
You're talking the 19th?
yes, at 1 o'clock. If they give me approval to go ahead with using 3,000 on it, then I'll just purchase the Engage and we'll go from there. If we find that we need to upgrade to a voice-activated system, then we'll do that. But I think if we just went to 3,000 right now, I think that would be beneficial for us. If the townships want to opt in on it at a later date, we could always ask them. Right now, don't ask me to ask them, they're mad at me. Big time.
I know.
So we could take and warrant, let anybody know in the courthouse, anything.
Yes, we could have pre-designated messages that we could send out
I
immediately.
think that would save us, you know, even if we put a lighting system or a PA system or a phone system, we would spend a lot more than that. So it's something to look at.
And it would help with our insurance on them when we did our walkthrough last week.
So how about, could we have a special data meeting on Monday the 23rd, which would be the day before our next board meeting?
Right.
This is a, Mary Ann, this is a cell phone notification?
Yep.
I'm thinking.
Actually, it's a landline too. It's whatever the citizen puts in. We don't have to put a citizen's phone number in. They can opt into the system if we want.
What are they offering for free? Is that a 1 month, 2 month trial thing that they're offering right now, or
It's free forever.
free forever? So what are you asking for funding for?
The upgraded system, which will let us do a lot more.
How about if we meet before you have your meeting on the 19th and come up with so that we understand exactly what it is, pending, as Laura just suggested, pending the decision of your meeting on the 19th, so we could meet in a...
Sure.
11 o'clock.
How about, Monday the 16th.
I am off that day.
How about Tuesday, the 17th? I have an 8 o'clock meeting. That'll be done, say we had it at 10. Tuesday morning? Okay, so we'll put a special data meeting down for Tuesday, the 17th at 10 o'clock.
Just a couple other things. We need to look into stockpiling some sandbags here in the county. I was called Saturday night. Dispatch called me, a man on North Cedar River Road had flooding from an ice dam. And so I talked to him, and he's, the water was all the way up to his back porch. And then I contacted the drain commissioner, who called me back later that night, and we worked it out. But I don't know if it's something that, you know, we want to have available to the residents if they want. They would have to fill their own, obviously, unless they're disabled, and we could get the CERT team to help them. But we would really, we have no sandbags here. And we've got flooding coming in. I'm glad it's warming up right now, and the water's, you know, it's gradually melting. It's not like last year, but next week we've got some pretty warm weather coming with rain over the weekend. So, the one other thing is we attended an exercise in Clare. Terry and Chuck attended with me, and I think we learned a lot from it, and I can't wait to have one here. Our plan, I've gone with the state plan and have redone our plan with checklists. So when you arrive to DOC, you will be given a checklist, and this is what you got to do. I just got public information done yesterday. I've got about 6, 7 more annexes to go, and then I have to get it approved by the state. And then I have work for each person that has to sign off on it. They're gonna have to supply some stuff, so we're pushing ahead.
Are you asking for action on sandbags?
Have you got a price yet?
No, I think they're 12 cents a piece. I would have to go down and get them. I'm willing to do that and get the help and pay for the gas to go get them. They're from the Army Corps of Engineers. As soon as I find out, I mean, if we, it's just some, I mean, I don't know.
Where's it at, Marianne? Where's it at?
Downtown Detroit.
I'm going down this weekend, if that helps.
Where, what would we do? Just have
Have them on hand if somebody wanted to.
have they're not filled sandbags.
Right.
They're the bags that get filled.
Yep.
And so then we would have to have like a dump truck full of sand someplace that they could fill them on, correct?
Or the citizen, if they know they've got flooding like Radoff Drive, we can make it available to them ahead of time. If they want to fill them up and keep them on their property, that's fine.
They do a lot of filling.
Yeah, they would be a lot of filling. Sometimes just having them on hand and being able to help the public with them is one thing. By the time the floodwaters rise, you don't have time to fill them. But if we know ahead of time that the dam is on its way out and we can do something to save something, then we would have them here. It's something to look into. I will find out the price and bring it back.
Okay.
Can I go back, you mentioned Radoff Drive, that came up last night at the Billings Township meeting. Now, we got an email, maybe a month or so ago, from a resident there who was concerned because last year they had flooding. And I know you were going to address that situation.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
I talked to the gentleman, and his address, there's like 8 or 10 addresses on Radoff Drive that we know floods all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I talked to him. His address was not on it, so I called our contact who does the plans, the dam plans, and they added his address. So he will now be notified when water is let out of the dam, because it always floods there. So I think, Sharon, you got the email from him, and then it was passed on to me, and I just took care of it.
Okay.
And let him know what was going on.
So they're just going to be notified ahead of time?
The dam calls them, and they call dispatch, and they also call me. But then they start calling those residents because they're the ones that are affected like they were last year.
This is Hay Township, though, where it's the,
Yes.
takes place,
Yes, right after. Yep. But he was really happy. He was really ecstatic that he's now on that list. He had no idea. And they also have a neighborhood,
Watch.
kind of like that. They talk to each other about the flooding and water's coming up, they'll contact somebody else, so.
There's not too much they can do down there.
No. And I know it's gonna flood again this year. So,
Like it has the last 30 years.
yep. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you, Mary. I'll go into finance report.
Okay, let me, on the clarification on the unallocated, I'll make a motion to authorize Krista to transfer the funds from the unallocated to pay the bills. That's why that was also
Support.
As needed.
as needed.
Okay. Yeah, we're not there yet, but we're getting close.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Now, we're going to discuss many of these items on the finance because Laura Brandon Mayville has alerted me to things that I wasn't aware of. Thank you, Laura. All right. We, the court officers have requested new communication equipment, and their letters are in your file, the letter requesting it and the estimates. It's almost $100 a month, $99.95, and is funded from DARE and Crime Stoppers. And I'll make the motion to establish a revenue line so that they can receive these payments. That would be 101,000,671.333. It's $1,200 a year to fund that particular thing. And there's no problem on, from the DARE side of it. Linda's the treasurer, so we've already got the numbers. So I'll make a motion to authorize, to allow the new equipment.
I'll support.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Does that, that's not costing us anything? Okay.
It's costing us $74.
74?
$74 total.
Oh, okay.
They've got
year.
1,200
Yeah.
grants.
Year.
Grants, if you the bill came out to like 1274,
Okay.
1275. So,
So, the motion's made second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There's a planning commission, or planning seminar at Billings Township. It's this was promoted to all the townships, and at the planning commission meeting last week, everyone on that board wanted to attend, so I'll make a motion to pay the $25 fee. That's a total for each. The way they billed this was to each township, so the planning board members can attend it. I have attended this type of thing, Michigan State seminar on planning. I'm not certain what the criteria or what the curriculum will be for this one, but the $25 fee covers all, it's a one-time deal. And that comes from that budget, and there's no problem with it all, Justin, right? That I know of, so I'll
I
make the
called and
motion
made the
to.
reservation just today,
Yeah,
and so you just need to notify the planning commission.
right. So I'll make a motion that we authorize, that's coming from 101-400-860-000.
support.
And that 25, it's not $25
No.
per member, it's $25 for the entire planning commission.
Yeah.
Just, okay, thank you.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we've got, Ray has asked, Ray Har, the sheriff, has asked, cost estimates for repairing the low security remodeling project that they've been working on. These will be paid from the 101-351-9.
Of that, that would leave us with only about half of phase 3, so it's this phase 2 is a little bit more than what I was originally saying, but it's also incorporating part of phase 3 into it, so.
So walls, windows, and half of the heat?
One of the heating units would be taken care of, that would but just leave 2 heating units to address it, whenever we can, I guess. And this would all be inmate labor as far as the takedown of that stuff to save on costs, so we don't have to pay somebody else to do demolition.
And the removal of those walls is gonna make it a lot more open and more secure for the officers and there won't be any blockage.
So, but then there'll still be more costs at phase 3 then?
We want to see how, when, in doing this, how that, right now it's so cold in there, you couldn't even have inmates in there in the cold days in the winter, it's just that bad. This may, and what we're doing, it may make that better where we don't have to rush into doing that right now. I mean, plus it's warming up out there, so we can hold off as funds become available, maybe to look at finishing that, or we may look at it in a month and come back and say, let's get it done. We can kind of go from there on that.
I went over and looked at it the other day, and I think eventually, it'll, with inmates coming in, it'll help pay for it.
Did you make a
Is
motion?
there a motion on the?
Yeah, I made the motion.
I support. Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, do you remember from last month that when we had the Public Act 2, that's the tax, the alcohol tax, it's $44,000. At the mental health board meeting last week down in Mount Pleasant, they had already incorporated this into that plan on the, remember they're merging mid-state health with the mental health boards, and so that was brought up in the finance meeting. So I'll make the motion that we authorize the transfer of the $44,342 to mid-state health network.
I thought, before we get a second, I
thought,
thought
have we
we
done
could
that?
retrieve some of that somehow, some way.
Well, this 44,342 is just for the revenue we received in October and January. That's not the reimbursement. The state has not given me legislation that says we have to return the other money, so we're holding off on that part. But this is money we received that we did not forward to them.
This is our 50%.
Yep, it's 50% of our
Pass-through
payment.
money, basically.
The Coble Hall money, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wanted everybody to know
Yeah,
that.
Yep, convention facility tax is what they
Apparently,
call it.
we have really no option.
No, we all had.
That's what it's used for, is substance abuse. 50% of the money we get for that goes for that purpose.
I'll support Don's motion.
Motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Carrie Barlow, she's the 911 assistant administrator, has requested that 2 of her the dispatchers attend the critical incidents total disaster response training on March 24th in Novi. The cost is $398 plus the lodging of $90 and meal and mileage expense, and the money, all the costs for this will be paid from 282-000-804-001. I'll make the motion to authorize the request.
I'll support.
Motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Carrie's also requested the approval to purchase a new chair for the dispatch center, and this, the cost of this $659.45, and it's paid for from the 101-422-933-000. I'll make a motion to authorize that chair purchase.
Support.
Motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now these others, we're going to discuss some of this because these are new. These are not on your reports. We've gotten the grant for approval for the new cruiser, came to Laura. So you want to explain or bring everybody else up to date, Laura, on it?
Last fall, we had applied for 2 vehicles, one being that it was going to be covered under, a portion of that money was going to be covered under the 416 grant. That was approved in portion, and that grant had come through. The second one, they were not sure if there'd be enough funding after they dispersed to all the other counties. Got an email from Jackie Morgan today from USDA. Yes, in fact, they are going to fund a portion of that vehicle, and they just need board's approval saying yes, that will accept, and she will be in next finance to have Terry sign some paperwork.
So
So as soon as you say yes,
Yeah, I make a motion to.
Ray's got to order.
Move forward on that grant for the.
Just a question on portion, are we saying 50% on cars or
9,000.
9,000?
Yep.
Okay, so it's close to 50%. I'll support.
Motion supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we need, our renewal or inmate food service contract is expiring, so we need to renew it. I'll make a motion to renew the inmate food service contract.
I'll support.
Has the states the same, or was there any change in it, or
I don't have any
any
detail.
change, Ray?
I believe there's a 3% increase factored in. It was like a 1% last contract, and now it's up to 3. Still real reasonable. Matt
0.2 under the CPI.
had researched out other companies, got either no response or one that just was asleep and not getting one back. So they've been doing a good job. It's reasonable what they're asking, I would say.
Motion support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is not on your, on your paper also, is the camera grant for the jail to approved. I'll make the motion to authorize Laura to submit this for reimbursement on the grant.
Jail and courthouse, I'm sorry. It's both.
Oh, yeah.
Right, both.
Yeah, it's $23,638.79. We can apply for reimbursement on the jail one and $17,903.22 on the courthouse. We can apply for reimbursement. They got approved last week.
I'll support that.
Motion supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now, I want to make certain that, did we cover, is this the one that John came in to finance, to request the other day?
No.
Did we get that?
No, that was still going, Ray's gonna get some prices for us to discuss that the next time.
Are we talking about the $2,000 one? He already turned in the bill for that. He already had it done.
So we got that dealt with?
No, we don't have it
We
done.
don't have it dealt with?
No.
Okay.
A bill for what?
The change out of those cameras for that
Wait, there's-
$2,035.
It's not been done, so
He handed it to me yesterday.
it has to be an estimate then, because he didn't do it that I'm aware of.
Pretty sure it's a bill.
They didn't do the work, so I don't know how he submitted a bill, so I would definitely look into that.
If you want to recess, I'll go grab it.
Yeah, we'll recess for a couple minutes. Everybody get a cup of coffee.
I believe he's down there too,
Is that to advance some cameras that were kind of fuzzy or something?
Yeah, I thought you were doing the, because we put a date on that, remember? Till next finance?
Yep.
Because we were looking at, Ray could get some cheaper prices on that if we did the work ourselves.
There were 14 cameras, I think, that were older cameras that work, but they're failing. Some of them are failing
And I think there
fairly
were
quickly.
9
There
that
was
he said were critical.
7 or 9, something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
in
I was
that.
trying to find my notes on that, because I wrote down the details of what we need.
Yeah, well, but we said no. We're not doing anything until Ray brought some more figures in, that was gonna go to the next finance meeting.
Can't we buy them individually, or?
John went to the company, did the install, and got a quote for a couple grand to replace, to have the cameras purchased and then do the labor. What I have found out is the labor is simply taking the old one out and plugging in a new one. So the labor cost, Rick and I could climb on a ladder and do that ourselves to save on that. And then the cameras, I believe you can, what I've been told, you can get them for about half the cost. So they were supposed to come back here, they missed a camera in the Register of Deeds office, so that's when I wanted to talk to them directly to see what cameras it is they're quoting and kind of so I could compare apples to apples. None of that has happened yet as of this morning, so if there's a bill, that's news to me.
Yeah, I did not have it on our finance notes, but I want to make certain we don't let it fall through the cracks.
Right, but we're not purchasing anything.
Right at the moment, right.
This
This
might
was like $1,200.
this might be that
Everything's
door.
got to go through Ray first anyway.
I know, everything that's,
Is it the door down in district court?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
which I don't know how that was getting paid for, but yes.
I don't know how it's getting paid for either.
That was approved a few meetings ago, I don't remember, but
Okay. It's the access door down in district court.
The cameras, that was coming back to the next finance meeting, right? The 7 cameras? Okay.
Which one, which bill is that?
This is the access door to district court, which was approved that it got paid, but I don't know if we said where it was getting paid from. That's for the new card system because they only had 30 cards that were working and they weren't able to
How
create
much,
more
how
cards.
much was that?
$2,046.62.
We were gonna take some of that money out of,
245, was it 240? Yeah.
we gotta have an idea how much we got left in there.
Do you have a cash sheet with you?
No, I can find out how much is in there.
We'll take it out of that, but we need to save a little bit in there for
Right.
cleaning the building.
That was 2,036.44.
That's the 7 cameras.
Okay.
This is the,
How many cards did we get with that, right? Any idea?
I think you can reuse some of your old cards still, that system. I don't think they've switched the cards over. They can get new cards.
Because I know the guy saved some money by not taking, Rick was saying the other day, still use the same mechanism for the lock and so on and so forth. So-
It's basically new software. And then,
Yeah. There was $725 in labor, because they were coming from where, down Niles or someplace?
well, they were cutting some off the labor because they were already here doing the camera project. I remember that, but my hands weren't in that one.
Okay, but I found my notes, Chuck, because we didn't include it
Because we're not going,
but we should bring everybody up to date on that it's still hanging out there.
But Rick said the other day he needed some notification of who's all got cards and what's going on with that. So, and Rick's rail take care of that.
Where do you want that all to go? It's housed in the bailiff's office now, so you just have to let,
I guess work something out with Rick, because he issues the keys and,
courthouse security office. That's where the system goes into. So John and Rick will have to be married when it comes to that, probably somehow.
that'll work.
so you want this paid out of the 245 fund?
We have to see how much was in there, we want to make sure we got enough. I'm sure.
Christie's looking at it.
yeah, she's.
We're back into recess.
Did you ever officially recess?
Okay, other than that, that's all we got on finance then, till we get to Sharon's report.
We can move forward and should come back with that. Committees. Want to do county affairs? Anything else?
County affairs meeting, we met with the drain commissioner, and he expressed his dissatisfaction with being charged indirect costs for his department and cited 1993 statute that said that he did not have to pay. So in accordance, everyone was at the meeting, agreed that we would refer the matter to Aaron Miller, the prosecutor, our attorney, and asked for his research and opinion. Aaron researched it, came back with a detailed letter, and cited revisions of the statute in 2009. And the revision in 2009 says that drain commissioners are responsible for indirect costs. That being said, with that response from our county attorney, I will make the motion to direct Christy Van Teen to charge the drain commissioner's department the total charges for indirect costs.
I want to support that.
Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So you have,
Do you want my full report?
so
Okay. I attended the meeting after the last board meeting with Don Hamilton. That was on the 24th of February. It concerned revising the county recreation plan for 2015. It was an enlightening meeting. I attended the Buckeye Township meeting on the 25th. County Affairs meeting with Bob Evans was on the 3rd. Chaired a data committee meeting on the 4th. You have the minutes from that meeting. There were many things that were discussed, and it was probably one of the better meetings that we've had in a while. I also attended the Gladwin County Super Challenge on the 7th. Had a great time and enjoyed the soup offerings. There were a lot of people there. Attended Tobacco Township last night. They approved their budget. And reported that the Beaverton Area Fire Department will be meeting each month instead of every other month. Each month on the first Monday of the month. And as a point of information, Bill Clark, the township supervisor, in discussion requested that in the future, any county-wide money that's requested by the county, that money be appropriated on a per population basis rather than a flat charge amount to the township. Because he said that, for example, if Grimm should not have to pay the same amount that tobacco does. And so I just wanted that as part of the records for future reference, because I think he had a valid request as far as that was concerned. Our preliminary district library report was not totally complete because the one computer was being changed and down, and so he could not give exact status. But on that preliminary report for February, we had 1,847 patrons use the libraries, and 815 people used their computers. That's my report. Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner Smith. Yeah, back to where that money was gonna come from. Out of the 245 fund, there is $7,567.57 left in there, so we'll take that.
How much is the building cleaning that cost, the outside?
Around, not over $2,000. Need a motion to take it with that.
This was already approved for payment, I just didn't say
Oh, okay.
where from. But if you want to put that on the record, then I'll be happy to do that.
Commissioner Hinman.
Since our last meeting, I attended County Affairs, Data, and Finance Committee meetings. I'll start my board meeting starting tomorrow for the rest of the month. Other than that, I think you've got all the information that we have on all the committee meetings, so I won't rehash what we've already done.
Thank you. Commissioner Burgum.
Main thing I got, we'll bring you up to date on what happened in Central Michigan District Health Department. The Snyder's budget cut $1.5 million to that budget. They're putting on surcharge then on all the counties. In fact, Sandy, that's her directly in the meeting. We had to vote for the thing. The environmental health fees, for example, they're increasing the fees charged to Gladwin residents, to the businesses.
To the public.
Yeah, to the public. To offset the,
Did they ever just try to trim their budget like normal
are
people?
you kidding me?
They
That
don't,
isn't in
they don't
there.
have that in the vocabulary.
Wow.
Anyway, in order to make up that deficit, that's like $12. It doesn't sound like much money, but if, depending on what your business is, like in Sandy's case, with her market, she can explain the details, but it's significant. And to keep this in mind too, we're already charging Gladwin residents a surcharge for well permits, for septic fields, for restaurant permits, et cetera, food handling, to make up that disparity in our fees, the 181, we're paying them 181,000 a year currently. They wanted to increase it last year, or 2 years ago, Dennis, Carl, and myself voted no on that one. So we're already hitting the surcharge. This is an additional surcharge. That's what the main thing I want to make a point about. 43,000 bucks is what they're looking for. So we don't have it in our budget. We don't have that kind of money. So anyway, that's the main thing. And as far as my healing process, the physical therapist people are sadists. My right arm is doing great, but now my left arm is hurting more than my right arm is hurting. But I had the surgery on the right arm. But I go to White every couple of days, and boy, she's something else. She finds places on my shoulders and muscles I didn't know existed. But I'm not going to wait 5 years on the left one. I'm going to have it done as quick as I can work it out the schedule. Because I have this dream, my bucket list is I want to be able to start my chainsaw without any help before I die. And right now, I can't do that, of course. But last night, my whole system in my boiler, the cats or something knocked off a hose in the wood shop, and so 550 gallons of water got pumped out of my boiler. So David and I were out there at 6:30, 7 o'clock trying to fill the boiler back up again. And all the garden hoses were frozen, of course. So anyway, physically limited things psychologically hurts me because, and Gail can testify to it. She's like my sister when it comes to this. Don, you can't do that. But anyway, that's where I stand. So.
Thank
You're
you.
just a sissy, Don.
Mr. Alden.
Okay. Well, on February 27th or 25th, both Don and I attended the Mid-Michigan Health Board meeting, and what he says is true. In fact, I gave you a copy, and I checked off all the areas in which the fee permits are going to go up $12. And like I said, it doesn't sound like much, but for me, just an example, at my store, because I serve coffee, I pay over $100 a year for the permit itself. Then I have to pay to have that water sampled, but before I can have it sampled, I have to pay to send it in. So I paid 3 times for the testing of the water, and now, like they said, well, $12 isn't much. Well, I've already paid $150, and now you want another $12. So, out of how many members on that board are there, Don?
12.
I was the only one that voted no. I said no. Because I did look at the budget, and I said, whoa, we can do this somewhere else. We don't have to pass this on, but they did. On the 26th, I attended the Mid-Michigan Action Committee in Farwell, and this was the first time I had been at that meeting, and pretty much all they did that night was review their budget and their upcoming programs, so that was just a informational thing for me that night. On the 27th, I attended the Mid-Michigan Works meeting in West Branch, and I brought you some program results of the things they offer. And we did go in the building. They have a room where they offer charter school. And I was amazed. They planned on about 40 kids trying to get their GED or credit recovery or their alternate high school diploma. And they have over 100 kids signed up from the surrounding areas, the surrounding counties. And I said, with a show of hands, I wanted to know how many kids were there from Gladwin. And there were about 4 or 5 kids there were from Gladwin that morning.
Close that door, please.
It's on lock. Do you want it locked?
The last night I attended both the Bentley and Billings. That's my report.
The 4th of April?
The 4th of April.
I got distracted because there was something going on, and it sounded like it was down a level in my office, so I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I missed
It's
something.
okay.
You want to take a recess to go down?
Will you just call extension 122 and ask if everything's okay down there?
I thought it was in court as well.
There's no court going on.
There was one
It was right outside our
at
office.
probate court.
Outside your office?
Yeah. They're now in front of your light, or your doorway.
Laura just wanted to make sure everything was okay. The officer said, okay, thank you. She said the officer said.
Their escort or no?
Um,
Just a few things. Rick called me this morning a little bit after 7, so, and said he was not doing too good today.
He was not good yesterday. I don't even know how he was still standing yesterday.
And I've been back and forth with the sheriff and Ray and the sheriff looking at the jail, what's going on there, what's taking place. Just kind of, if they need something to work with them. The first city meeting, everything went well. The third, I attended the pipeline safety. I brought back some pens for Gail, and Don took all of them. So,
I got a few.
I didn't keep them all.
It was
I
good.
hid them.
It was a good informative meeting. I made some notes, I can't even read. Met with the, our insurance person from Municipal Risk, and we talked about a lot of things of security, and he's coming back down. I would like to, when he sets a date, sit down with the full board and address some issues of security. He was very happy over the cameras. We talked about policies, and also he needs to send one of the risk managers down for certain areas that we need to go over. So it was real informative. I wish that another commissioner had been here, but he's going to come back. But I think we should meet with him with the full board and go over things. Or maybe he can set up a day that we have a meeting. Just issues that we need to look at, and also issues that we need to move forward with.
One thing, I did not get him tied down on the increase of the coverage for the Sportsman's Club. And in other words, remember we called, Gail called, but he didn't get back to us today. But in other words, the value of that building increased substantially when they added on the new wing for the kitchen. And that's state-of-the-art stuff, and it had to increase the value of that building a couple $100,000, I would think. By going backward in time, looking at the original, because they not only did a new kitchen wing, but they also added all new windows and doors, etc. So the replacement cost, or if you were to have a loss there, would be substantial compared to what it was a year ago.
He called that day, and he was coming back from Mount Pleasant, and he just wanted to swing by to say hi. And we sat down for about an hour and talked about different things. So he was kind of unprepared. It was just
the guy, when I called him, talked with him, and then Gail called Seebeck, we just didn't get the actual. What we were attempting to do was guesstimate what the increased value was from what was spent on the Ansel system and the new stoves.
We haven't got anything back to Seebeck, so.
No, and if I might interject, Fran had said just take all those figures that we had on the back of the copies, but that included things like plowing and other things that were not.
Yeah, we needed to know the window numbers, the bathroom, the new fixtures in the bathroom, as well as the kitchen and so forth.
But what we also have to look at too is the courtesy cars that we have at the airport, and what our liability is. We have, because there are cars now.
Is it carried under the city, or is it carried under us?
It's carried under us.
We talked about the fact that there needs to be an agreement between
Yes.
the city, the county, and the airport on
Who operates these, and if it's under our fleet insurance, And we gotta have some policy, and we also have to have some protections.
Well, I think for the last year, you're trying to get a statement from what the finances are, so.
Right.
Their audit's done now, we should be able to get
Well,
that.
and like I said to Don, I mean, it's comes right down to where the rubber hits the road, let's FOIA.
Yeah, each request that Cindy
We
and I
shouldn't
made
have to,
has-
but-
has
I think
been
you get them
rejected or
online.
ignored.
Huh?
Can't you get them online?
The figures?
I pulled last year's audit down. Now that their other one's complete, I should be able to pull their
Okay.
2014, 13, 14 down.
But going back to what Chuck was pointing out about about that stuff, the airport as well as the Sportsman's Club, our contribution to MMRA, we get a dividend if there's been no claims or costs. In other words, that's the way that system operates. What was the figure last year, Laura? About 37,000 that we
No,
got
it was
back?
80, it was 80 sometimes.
That was on the one medical.
But-
Okay.
Yeah, it all, but that is in a very real way like indirect cost, in the sense that if we are paying the fiddler for the entire airport liability and coverages, then that ought to be incorporated into the agreement, the financial agreement we have with the city of Abilene on the bottom line.
Are we covering the airport?
Well, the
Insurance?
cars are ours.
Title to us,
Yeah,
covered under
they're
our
titled to us, so
policy.
they fall under our fleet insurance, so
What about the airport in general?
all I can tell you is that the fleet cars, or the courtesy cars, I have no idea about the airport.
I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered somehow, someway. There's somebody got to be insured at the airport.
No words.
You know anything about that, Kristen?
No, I would think they'd have their own policy.
Liability policy, I'm sure they carry their own, but I'm talking even just,
General.
Those cars should be covered
and
under
that,
theirs.
if you look under our MMRMA, it could have that section or that property listed, so that might be something we need to look at.
And that's money,
Yeah.
because it directly translates back to that.
That's why I say, Tom, with your risk, and the risk manager comes out, that's where we need to address a lot of these
Big
things,
question.
so that they can guide us into where we need to go.
Because everybody remember, MMRA is not a profitable, it is not a profit enterprise. It's a consortium of all the counties and so forth participate, and it's not intended to be a profit to like a private sector insurance carrier. So that any unused reserves gets returned to us in the form of a dividend. So
And then too, we talked about that, and because they pay a partial for like the deer, like the catchers on the front of the cars, the sheriff department. And also, he told me there's other money that we need to look at and sit down with them, one of the risk people, for security operations. There's money sitting there that is not being used.
Right, it's grants, just like what Ray gets.
Right.
For the jail, there's grants that we should be able to.
He said he's got some things going, and he'll contact us back, and we'll get a meeting set up with him. And I'd almost like to have it a day that we just don't have general public for question and air, like something we can address just with him and so on and so forth. So it'll be, maybe be an off commission day. Right. Because a lot of times you get input from the audience that maybe you don't need. So, Mondays have been working great. They worked yesterday, they worked great today. And because I was with Rick, I was in the jail. There was problems with the computers being down yesterday. We got that all taken care of. Gail really stepped up and took care of that. So we also lost the people in the area that have been around for 101 years. Margaret Noble. She was quite a lady.
I have to write it out.
101.
Yep. She was my brother's favorite teacher.
Yep. And then also the sheriff's grandmother, Anna Shea. Also, next meeting, the 24th, I would like to get back, and I was digging the other day, and there's some pictures of some of the commissioners, and I'd like to put them back up on the wall. So next one, dress pretty like I did today. Take a picture to
You're looking at me, what?
put on the wall.
I'm dressed
I'm looking
up.
at Don, really.
Other than I shaved and I got scolded from,
You look
Commissioner
different.
to my
You just
immediate
look
left.
different. I can't recognize you. So we'll take a picture next meeting, and Mary Ann will do
You Need to wear a tie?
that. No.
I've never had my
Sure.
I threw off
Yes.
in my life.
Yes, you do.
Today I had the vets meeting, another meeting's coming up. Also, at the last local government, the 911 chairman, Mr. Schaefer, addressed the local government, and Colin Combs has stepped up to be the representative for the townships. He's the chairman of the local government, be a good person to have on board. He will be the township rep for 911, and we'll send a letter out to, I've already talked to him, so.
Do we need to approve that
Yep.
for the minutes?
Yes,
I make a motion that we appoint him.
I'll support.
motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Also, just announcement, we sent it out to email, and also I went around to the offices yesterday. There will be an insurance meeting, March 19th. It's Commissioner's Room. Employees, if any issues or what they have with the insurance company, Doug James will be here from Benefits Consulting, and Dirk Presidio will be here for all employees to have any questions. All things good.
And I can't be here, they're just administrative type stuff, so.
Also, our secretary found out that the other day that our contract will be up. And we need to look into some of these things, and it's where we get in trouble with the phones a while back. Our contracts with our copiers is up in September, and we'll turn that over to Data.
We're already working on that.
Okay. So, moving forward on that. I think that's all I have. Oh, and it was talked about a lot at the local government about the millage coming up. I shouldn't say millage, but the vote.
Also one.
If you see, if you were watching TV, the Attorney General is opposed to that. What I'm concerned about, and we have negotiations this year, is that possibly the state will ask for a revenue sharing portion of it back. And I know they're talking about threatening us that it would be cut out or whatever's going to go on. But what was it, 2013? They asked for it back, 14.
14.
We had to give a portion of that revenue sharing back. So I think it's going to be a kind of a rocky couple of years. I don't know what's going to happen. I talked to one of the township people that represents all the townships and all the county, townships in the county for this district, and he feels it'll fail 60 to 40. So it will be very interesting.
Yes.
And we'll know in May how we're going to have to handle this.
Yeah, it was it's a classic quid pro quo type of tax increase, in as much as the way, if you read the details, they've allocated like $600 million to public school funding. They've increased the revenue sharing to townships, cities, and counties, et cetera. The a lot of that $1.2 billion, part of it goes to Detroit area for mass transit, et cetera. In other words, the MTA is backing it, the MAC is backing it, the Michigan Chamber of Commerce no, because if you look at all the details, there's something in it for certain groups, and as a consequence, that's what the strategy was, to pull it together to get enough backing for it. The feedback, it was not permitted to go on the floor at the Michigan Republican State Convention meeting a week ago, this past weekend, a week ago. they blocked it from, because there is a protest going on internally with the Republicans in this. In other words, it doesn't come down to Republican or Democrat on the attitudes of it, because as you pointed out, Bill Schuette is publicly not supporting it. It is, in our group, there were guys wearing buttons at the meeting last Thursday night.
It just brings concern to me because we are just starting to get our feet, maybe see a little light down the tunnel. I understand that possibly revenue sharing will go away, but we've been kind of helping us live on that till we can get on our feet here. And that's going to be yanked out from underneath us. So.
What's
Just
really
be
gonna
aware of
hurt is not so much if that gets yanked, but if we have to do, like what we had to do in 2008, where we had to set aside a third of our tax collection for 3 years, and then they told us how much we could use for the next 3 years, that hurt.
Yeah.
That's where we're now digging out of. So, and if they ask for something like that again,
That's
So-
when they phase into this EBIT
yes.
strategy and so
Yes.
forth, and
So I just want you to be prepared for that, and I want you to be thinking about it.
it actually takes away our option to make any kind of a long-term financial agreement at this point in time, because we don't know what what the state, the legislature and the governor is going to do if it fails.
Well, if negotiation comes up and we think we're going to do something, and all of a sudden it backfires on us, then we're in trouble.
If you would please, excuse me, as a board, take a position on the May vote and let everybody know about it.
Oh, I think it's out there already, what's going on, but.
Yeah. They're already putting TV spots on it.
Yeah.
It's, this one becomes ideological as well as financial, in the sense that a sales tax is regressive.
And it leaves everybody, it leaves all the counties and townships and cities hanging.
Yeah.
I would be opposed to taking a position
Right.
I agree.
with this board,
Yeah.
because I think there's too much of governmental
Input.
influence or whatever, and I think this is something that each individual is going to have to do. And as a board member, I would not vote for a position. I think people need to research and look at and examine
The vote's up to
and make the
them.
decisions for themselves.
Yep.
It's gonna cost Gladwin Community Schools, if it does not pass, it's gonna cost us $340,000 next year.
It's going to cost everybody.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's like being told by Mary Ann that we have to pass these courses that, for me personally, I can't ever see any need whatsoever that I need to know this information. But if I don't pass this course, then Gladwin County can be penalized and money taken away. That definitely becomes governmental interference, and so,
And they look for any kind of excuse to take, and look
Yeah.
all the hoops and loops we had jumped through before.
are you up now for comments from board members?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a comment, two, actually. First of all, I would really like to go on the record thanking Justin Snyder, because we had approved the expenditure of $800 for a computer for his department. He went working with the people in his department, found a computer that is going to definitely fulfill the needs that they had, and so he withdrew the request and we canceled that $800. And I just would like to commend him for looking at a budget that early and taking that stand. And secondly, I was glad that you mentioned Margaret Noble, who was 101, and that I was not aware of, but Bernie Weaver, that's her aunt. And so Bernie had sent me notification that her aunt had passed and the services are tomorrow. And then also to acknowledge that Annalise Shea, that's Mike Shea's grandmother, who was a brubaker. So there's a lot of them. Anyway, And it's just, she was 92, 94.
But she is his aunt, she's not his grandmother.
And, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I didn't want to correct, but maybe it's going to.
I'm glad you did, because Paul Brubaker and R.C. Brubaker and all those guys, they're neighbors of mine, and,
That's his aunt.
Oh, that was his aunt, and not his grandmother. Okay, thank you.
I confused it as well. I thought it was their grandmother.
Something of that, they're relative.
I'm
They look
sorry.
so-
Great aunt.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Aunt,
Anna Lisa.
An aunt or a cousin or great aunt, something.
that's true.
No, A-N-N-A and then L-E-E, Anna Lee.
Anna Lee, I thought there was a, whatever.
I
All I
don't
know
know,
is
because I
she-
practically lived with her when I was
It's
little.
Glenna Brubaker, Glenna Hitchcock, and her sister.
Any other comments?
Yes, I had a couple too. I just want to remind everybody of the broadband ceremony Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock at the Michigan Works Building. And it's 10 days till spring.
And I can't attend, because I would go to my president to do the bills at Central Michigan District Health Department, so
I
I'll be
sent my
conspicuous
regrets
for my
because
absence.
my husband has a doctor's appointment in Saginaw, so I can't.
I will be here, I don't know who else can do it, so.
Did you say 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock Wednesday morning.
out of Michigan Works.
Sandy, did you send in the reservation? Did you respond?
Oh, yeah, I let.
Okay.
And just to follow up on Sandy's comment about 10 days of spring, it'll be 11 days till we have more snow.
Yesterday, Gail sent all of us a flyer that came out of Western Michigan that dealt, it was in really neat colored flyer that dealt with wounded, it's not wounded warriors, okay? It is for, just a second.
You gonna make some more copies of that?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Anyway,
print them down on the treasure.
it's called Operation Injured Soldier, okay? I printed off this last night and took it to Tobacco, and Tobacco usually doesn't ask for stuff. They wanted to copy this so that they would have that. I think it would behoove each one of us to make sure that we had this, to take to each one of our township meetings and let them know about this program, because this is for any injured soldier, wounded warrior in Afghanistan and Iraq. But this is for any injured soldier that has served in the military.
Sharon, I can forward that to townships. Then they can
Oh,
print it.
why don't, yeah, please do, but make note of it, that it's been forwarded or whatever. I think we should emphasize that. I was really impressed, surprised last night when Tobacco said they wanted a copy of this.
I would add also that we have a tendency in our society, even across the board, to look at everything physical problems, when in fact, we have a greater problem that is not acknowledged, not spoken about often enough, mental and nervous, etc. And post-traumatic stress disorder is not a new phenomenon. It has been there all along. It impacts our veterans dramatically, and sometimes, as you know, the statistics about the suicides and so forth are greater percentile. We don't seem to factor it in. We obviously we jump at physical when you lost a limb or whatever, it's manifest, but we don't seem to put it in perspective that we've got young people, our veterans are being hurt also by psychological, and I just want to make sure we don't ever forget that.
But I just, as I said, I was surprised at their response last night, and I think